Well, I don't think it's what Stewart's challenging him, because Stewart just lost it, and obviously that's what it is. What it had me thinking about, though, because in all the years that I've covered the league, we talk about the Jordans of the world, the Kobes of the world, and people like that. And you saw LeBron when he first came into the league. You saw when they went to the finals. You saw when they was feigning, taking pictures and playing around and being jovial and all of that other stuff. LeBron James is too phenomenal and too great not to be incredibly respected. But in my estimation, from the people that I've spoken to covering the league, he's never been feared. LeBron is not somebody that instills fear in you. Of course, you got a game plan for him, and you know that his Herculean talents and what have you and what he brings to the table, he's impossible to stop. He's one of the top 2-3 players in the history of basketball. You know all of those things. But a lot of times when we think about MJ, for example, and obviously he's the one person that draws those comparisons, what ultimately comes up short is the level of fear that was instilled in you. You didn't mess with MJ. You didn't come at MJ like that. You didn't do stuff like that. People, and I'm not talking about Isaiah Stewart, I'm just talking about period in terms of opponents and how they come at you. You believe that you wondered what you was going to do about this. With LeBron, you believe you can take him. You believe he can be had, whether it's because of the teammates around him, the system he's playing in, the people that, you know, whatever skill set you bring to the table, et cetera, you just view him differently. And throughout the years in covering the league, those are all the things that I've consistently heard. Now, obviously, he would refute that. There's players that would refute that who have been supportive of him. Rich Paul and Maverick Carter definitely would refute that because I've spoken to them about it in the past. But, again, he is profoundly respected. This is not an issue about respect for LeBron. I'm talking fear factor. Fear factor. That's just not something that has ever been associated with him.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Go ahead, man.
There's a lot to unpack there.
That's why you're here.
First of all, two of the guys you brought up in that conversation.
Yes.
Kobe.
Yeah.
Got two-piece by Chris Childs.
Yes, Chris Childs.
Michael Jordan got the hell beat out of him for years by the Detroit Pistons. So they challenged him physically. To say that LeBron, who's won 4 championships, multiple league MVPs, made the finals 8 straight years, to say he's not feared by players?
Not feared.
I don't know whether to believe that you believe what you're saying.
I do believe
that's crazy.
Well, it's not crazy. It's not.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy, and you know better. You know better.
When,
You've been in the.
But hold on. When has there been a situation? If you're talking physical confrontation.
No, I'm not. Listen.
Physical confrontation.
Listen. Well.
If that's what you're referring to, nobody's ever challenged LeBron like that. Well, why would they?
Nobody could challenge him. I forgot who it was, the center that played for the Chicago Bulls when he shoved LeBron to the ground, pushed him to the floor when he was in Miami. But that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying to you is this. If you watch the game, which you do, and
I played the game, Stephen A. And I played against LeBron in the playoffs.
Okay.
And I played against LeBron. I played against LeBron for 15 years.
You fear what he could do. Listen. You fear what he can do to you on the basketball court because nobody could ever question the greatness of LeBron James. But what I am trying to say to you is that you look at him, there's certain things with MJ in the era that he was in. I've spoken to Isaiah, I've spoken to Dr. J, I've spoken to Kareem, I've spoken to Magic, I've spoken to other folks. There's a culture that existed in the 80s, into the 90s, into the 2000s, and what have you. When you look at LeBron and you compare him to some of the preeminent superstars that have played this game, when it comes to fear, that's one of the differences.
Do you mean because LeBron's more accessible, like in terms of the personality, where MJ wasn't like one of the buddy guys?
That could have a lot to do with it. What I'm saying is we're talking about the greatest player who ever played the game, which I believe to be Michael Jordan. And a lot of times when you delineate the difference between the two, whether it's Michael Jordan or it's LeBron James, they're talking about a fear factor. There's just certain things you knew that you wasn't going to do to MJ. You could come to MJ on the court, but the things that people have done, the way that they've talked about LeBron James, the way that they've come behind him in the media, behind his back and stuff like that, you hear stuff 30 years later about MJ. A lot of times you didn't hear that kind of stuff going on because there was a level of respect and fear that LeBron, I shouldn't say respect because LeBron has always been respect. The point that I'm trying to make.
The reason people talk about LeBron, though, is because he lives in a 24/7 news cycle.
They would have talked about anybody.
Time.
And it would have been just as bad, if not worse, for MJ, no doubt about it. But I'm talking to you about respect and fear. There's no question. We ain't talking about respect with LeBron.
And I'm
James.
disagreeing with you completely.
And so you're saying,
there's no credence to Stephen A's argument, JJ.
So you're saying that the people like that, the fear that Michael Jordan instilled in people, that's what LeBron did?
Yes.
Okay.
In a different way. I mean, you're comparing two different things.
Well,
to say that his peers don't fear him, opposing coaches don't fear him.
Listen.
You think people want to go into a playoff series against LeBron?
No, I'm not talking about basketball. I'm not talking about basketball. On the court, I'm acknowledging his greatness. What I'm saying to you, the way people talk about him, the way they look to attack him, and I'm talking about contemporaries in the National Basketball Association. I'm not talking about his performance on the court. That's not what I'm saying. And by the way,
who's attacking LeBron? Who's attacking LeBron?
I'm talking about over the years, people that have come at him. Come on, JJ. I got to go to my archives to look this up.
I would love from a player. Find me a player, more than one. Right. Find me a player who's attacked LeBron.
Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so you can see when my videos are coming out. Now, this Stephen A clip that I just played, this has to be one of his worst takes on the show. Maybe he just wasn't into it. I don't know. But this by far is one of the worst takes that he had. Now, in this video, he talked about LeBron being respected but not feared. Now, he did clarify the fact that people are scared of him on the court in regards to what he can do physically. Because I was about to check him on that. When I saw LeBron James play firsthand, first off, he looks like he's 7 foot tall. Huge guy. People say he's 270. I don't know, but he's all muscle. Now, when it comes to his physical play, I guarantee you a player is not going to take 6 charges from him. I remember Charles Barkley say this years ago. He said, if someone could take 6 charges from me, then they deserved to get me out the game. And what that means for people who don't know about basketball, that means you're standing in front of a guy and they basically running you over to try to get to the hoop. That's a charge. And big as LeBron is, no one's going to take charges from him. Now, Redick said he tried to take a charge from him and he basically woke up and had to get stitches. That's how big LeBron is. Now, as far as his basketball ability, he ran the East from 2011 on. He went to 10 straight. He went to 10 straight NBA Finals. So you best believe that people feared him on that court. They couldn't beat him. Now, okay, so he clarified that. He's not talking about that. Now, he's saying people don't fear him. He's saying people don't fear him, like physical fight. And I disagree with that. Now, you can look back at any player, like he says, oh, they feared Michael Jordan. No, they didn't. They did not fear Michael Jordan. The Pistons did not fear Michael Jordan. They beat him up. Boston beat him up. And that was in the 80s. Milwaukee. Dennis Rodman, John Sally, they didn't care about him. They knocked him to the ground every time. He wasn't that big. He was 6'6", 195. Okay, he started working out in the 90s. They wasn't scared of him then. Check out this video real quick when people were beating him up in the 90s.
It's down to 13 with 7:05 remaining. Here's Jordan. Fouled by Smith. Jordan did not like the hard foul. Michael Jordan upset with Charles Smith. And let's see what the officials feel about it. It's a hold. It's just a personal foul on Smith.
Even though they're fellow alums, I think Michael Jordan getting a little bit irritated now by Hubert Davis putting his hands on him, decided he's going to take the young fella to the... Michael Jordan collared by Gilliam. And now Mark Wonderlich calling that a flagrant foul. Jordan will shoot two. The Bulls will get possession side court.
Okay, Bucks they're not only losing it, they've lost it at this point. Bulls have taken charge. Bucks have to get it back. Tough team to get it back against because they're so good in every department.
Michael Jordan give it to referee Joe DeRosa and let him know what he thought about the play.
Michael Jordan obviously very upset the way things
in this series, but his defense has been exceptional.
Shaquille trying the spin move and was shoved by Longley. So Luke committing his second.
Well, most of this series, Shaq has stayed going to the middle against Luke Longley and has a lot of success on the spin to the baseline against Wennington. He figured I might as well try it on somebody else. And now Phil Jackson's going to come with Kukoc and go small to try.
There was a foul call. Jordan turns and faces. Shot clock at 7, 6, and a... Whoa! Shaquille that might really hit him hard. MJ is down. Shaquille came over and really hit him. Now he's lifted him up. Michael taking a beating here also. We talked about the other end. It took him a minute to get up.
He got into it with Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller was what, 170, 185, 6'7", and Reggie wasn't scared of him. Anthony Mason wanted a piece of him. Shaq clearly wasn't scared of him physically. Charles Oakley, which was his friend, was putting them paws on him. Glenn Rice, etc. I can name so many players that was not scared of Michael Jordan, including Xavier McDaniels used to put them hands on him too. And Vernon Maxwell. I can continue to go down the line of people who were not scared of Michael Jordan. Steve Smith. Kobe Bryant is the same way. I remember they told a story about Samaki Walker and Kobe Bryant at practice. And the story went like this. Kobe made a bet with Samaki Walker for $100 that he would make a half-court shot, and he made it. So Samaki Walker, which didn't respect him at all, did not pay him. So Kobe Bryant went on the bus and punched Samaki Walker. So the whole team knew that Samaki Walker would have beat the brakes out of Kobe Bryant. So the whole team stopped it. And guess who called Samaki Walker crying, saying he apologized? Kobe Bryant. I'm not saying Kobe wasn't tough. Kobe Bryant was a tough guy. That's one thing about him and Michael Jordan. They didn't back down from anybody. But people was putting paws on Kobe. You remember Chris Childs punching him in the face? He's like 6'2". Do you remember Matt Barnes coming after him and Metta World Peace? People were not scared of them physically. Usually back in the day, they would have somebody who they were fearing on the team, like Charles Oakley. He was a head buster. And a few people that I named, like Anthony Mason, they would have these guys who would just go out there to fight, but who wasn't actually scared of the guy. Now, when we talk about LeBron James, let's look at his beginning of his career. Yeah, they didn't fear him because he was the kid. Not too many people, veterans, are scared of the kids who just get into the league. So he was like the biggest guy on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And when he played Boston, yeah, Boston pushed him around. Kevin Garnett wasn't scared of him. You know, so, but going on in his career, you never saw LeBron James really get challenged into a fight. So that's saying something. So I disagree with this chump Stephen A. Smith is saying. This is by far one of his worst takes on the show. Tell me what you think about, do you think LeBron James is feared by his peers? Do you think Stephen A. is right? Tell me what you think about this video. Do you think Stephen A. Smith is right? You think LeBron is not feared in the league? If you like this video, definitely give it a like, hit that subscribe, and also hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video.